Suppose for a moment that the thing you call uncertainty is not a mistake at all. Suppose it is not a crack in life, not a flaw in your thinking, not some temporary inconvenience that must be cleaned up before you can finally relax. Suppose it is the opening itself, because that is really where our trouble begins. We have been taught to think that life should make sense in advance. We want a map before the journey, a promise before the risk, an answer before the question has even fully ripened. We want to know where all of this is going, what we are supposed to become, whether we are safe, whether we are loved, whether tomorrow will behave itself. And so the mind keeps leaning forward, asking for certainty as if certainty were the price of peace. But life does not work that way. It never has. The ocean does not hold still so that the wave can feel secure. The sky does not explain the next cloud before it appears. A bird does not sit on a branch wondering whether the wind has submitted a reliable plan. It flies. It moves with what comes. And in that movement, there is a kind of intelligence far deeper than control. We, on the other hand, have developed the strange habit of standing at the edge of the unknown and calling it a problem. The chest tightens. The future goes foggy. The old answers stop working, and immediately we assume something has gone wrong. But maybe nothing has gone wrong. Maybe what you are feeling is simply the moment when life stops allowing you to pretend that it was ever predictable. That can feel frightening. Of course it can. The mind loves familiar furniture. It likes names, categories, plans, little boxes with labels on them. It wants to say, this is who I am, this is where I'm going, this is what this means. But the moment life really begins to move, those boxes start falling apart. A relationship changes. A plan collapses. A certainty you were leaning on disappears. And suddenly you feel as if the floor beneath you has become air. But perhaps that is not the end of stability. Perhaps that is the beginning of aliveness. You see, the more tightly you cling to certainty, the more brittle you become. You turn yourself into something stiff in a world that is fluid. You try to stand like stone in a universe that moves like water. And then, naturally, every change feels like an attack. Every surprise feels personal. Every unknown feels like danger. But life is not attacking you. It is moving. Think of a dancer. A dancer does not find grace by freezing. He finds it by yielding, adjusting, feeling the rhythm, leaning into balance and imbalance at once. The dance is beautiful because it is alive, and it is alive because it is never fixed. The moment you try to hold it still, it dies. So it is with you. You do not live by finally becoming certain. You live by learning how to move. And that is hard for the ego, because the ego wants to manage existence. It wants a control panel. It wants guarantees. It says, do not begin until you know. Do not love until you are sure. Do not step forward until the entire path is visible. So one waits for clarity, waits for the final sign, waits for the fog to clear completely. But the fog never clears that way. Life is much more like walking through mist in the early morning. You do not see the whole road. You see enough to take the next step, then another, then another. And if you insist on seeing the entire journey before you move, you remain where you are, calling your hesitation wisdom. Meanwhile, life is already singing just beyond what you can explain. This is why uncertainty is not empty. It only feels empty to the mind that wants everything familiar. In truth, uncertainty is full. It is the field out of which all real things appear. Love comes from there. Insight comes from there. Transformation comes from there. Every truly new moment enters from the place you could not predict. If you already knew it, it would not be discovery. It would only be repetition. And repetition may feel safe, but safety can become a prison when you worship it too much. It can become a life padded and protected from surprise, but also from wonder. That is the bargain most people make without realizing it. They trade mystery for management. They trade presence for prediction. They give up the living texture of the moment in exchange for the comforting idea that they know what is happening. But they do not, and neither do you. And strangely enough, that is the good news, because the one who must always know is always tense, always defending some position, always guarding an image, always trying to keep the future from changing its mind. There is no rest in that, only strain. Real peace begins somewhere else. It begins when you stop asking uncertainty to become certainty before you will trust life. It begins when you realize that not knowing is not a hole in your experience. It is part of the experience. It is the open space in which things are allowed to arrive. A seed in the ground must feel something like this. Buried, split open. No longer what it was, not yet what it will be. If the seed could think, it might say, everything is falling apart. But from another point of view, everything is unfolding exactly as it should. And perhaps that is where you are, between shapes, between answers, between one life and another. That in-between place is sacred, though it rarely feels comfortable. It feels like confusion. It feels like waiting. It feels like standing barefoot in the dark, listening for a sound you cannot quite identify. But the doorway never looks like a doorway while you are standing in it. It looks like uncertainty. That is why so many people miss it. They keep trying to rush past it. They say, how do I get out of this? How do I fix this? How do I get back to something solid? And in that hurry, they do not notice that something old is dissolving and something deeper is trying to appear. Because uncertainty does something very important. It loosens the mask. It shakes the role. It interrupts the performance. It asks, very quietly, whether you are really the person you have been pretending to be. The self you usually defend is made of memory, habit, opinion, fear, and social agreement. It is useful, certainly, but it is not your deepest nature. It is more like a sketch than a finished portrait. And when uncertainty enters, that sketch begins to blur. Good. Let it blur. Because beneath that image there is something far more alive than any conclusion you can reach about yourself. There is awareness itself. Open, present, ungraspable. The simple fact of being here. And that presence does not need certainty in the way the ego does. It does not need the future to behave. It only needs to be awake to what is here now. The sky does not panic when the weather changes. Storms pass through it. Sunlight passes through it. Mist passes through it. But the sky itself remains open. In much the same way, fear may pass through you. Confusion may pass through you. Sorrow may pass through you. And still there is something deeper that is not broken by not knowing. In fact, it may be revealed there. So when the future goes dark, when the old map stops working, when you can no longer force life into a neat little story, perhaps the question is not, how do I get certainty back? Perhaps the question is, can I stay here long enough to listen? Can I stop fighting the mystery long enough to feel that I am not separate from it? Because you are not standing outside life trying to negotiate with it. You are part of the movement itself. The wave does not need to understand the whole ocean in order to belong to it. And you do not need to understand your entire life in order to live it. You only have to meet this moment honestly, Not perfectly, not fearlessly, just honestly. And then something softens. The blank space no longer looks like a void. It begins to look fertile. The pause becomes rich. The silence has depth. Even fear changes its flavor. It is no longer an order to retreat. It is simply energy moving through a larger field. Then you can smile a little. Not because you have solved the mystery, but because you have stopped arguing with it. And that may be the beginning of wisdom. Not certainty, not control, just a quiet intimacy with the unknown. So when uncertainty next appears, do not be too quick to treat it as an enemy. It may be the very place where life is trying to open you. Stay there a moment. Breathe. Listen. Let the old answers fall away if they must. The doorway is not somewhere else. It is here, in this pause, in this not knowing, in this living, trembling moment. And if you do not turn away, you may discover that what you feared was darkness was really your eyes adjusting to a deeper light.